Well, you're gonna have to.
Roger decided to go to an insane asylum today.
Willingly or unwillingly?
It's funny, I was outside and he was walking towards me and he has those new sunglasses that are like the really round, and he looks exactly like Dr. Robotnik from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Really?
Yes. Because he had his mustache like...
Oh, wow.
Next Evike patch right there.
Yes. We Roger Robotnik.
Roger Robotnik. We miss Roger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Not So Round Table. We're joined today by Bob from ASG. And Lush.
Why, you're not allowed to talk about your team?
He's been a good friend of ours for a long time, and we haven't had a chance to get him on NSRT, so we thought this was a great opportunity since he came by to kind of fill us in on the Scorpion, and we were having a lot of fun filming that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a kick-ass airsoft gun. But this is NSRT, and you guys know how we do here. We answer questions in the helm of reasoning as submitted by you guys in previous videos, and as tradition. Would you like to start us off?
Sure. Grab one of these, dig in for a good one.
Better be a good one or we're kicking you off the show.
Yeah. This is your one and only shot. It's got to be good.
All right, here we go. First question is from a Henry McKenzie.
I think you've had it. I think he says. Go ahead, sorry.
All right, Henry wants to know, or here's Henry's question. Hey, Matt and George, and guest, if applicable. Love NSRT, keep up the good work. My question is, if you could close off one area to the public for just a day and use it to play Airsoft, where would it be?
Well, I already know what I would. Go ahead. I'm going to finish.
No, you always do it. No, you always do that. And you always upstage us.
I'm sorry. I'll start off and then you go. Okay. I really want to reenact the final scene from Heat.
Okay, so downtown LA.
Yeah, just saying.
That's not the final scene from Heat. The final scene from Heat is at LAX with just...
sorry, the downtown LA.
Yeah, the bank robbery
Yeah,
scene.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you guys have not seen that movie, I mean, it's a long movie, but if you've not seen that movie, you should watch that.
Watch that and Ronin, E34M5.
Oh, yeah, Ronin, that is a very underrated movie. That has the best car chases and most realistic car chases of any movie I've ever seen.
E34M5, just saying. It's a BMW. What do you guys think? What would you guys tell
What do you think? Where would you, you played in a lot of places.
I have played in a lot of places, a lot of the Lion Claws ops and things like that. I'm going to have to say probably an airport.
Airport?
Like all the terminals and things like that. I know you guys might get some comments like, oh, Call of Duty or whatever, but I mean, come on. It's an airport with all the different tunnels connecting it and the hallways, and you have a mix of all the areas, and you have the tarmac. Gotta be an airport.
That would be awesome. Like CS-747, is that what you're thinking? Like with like the terminal and then like the one airplane?
More airplanes if possible.
Oh my gosh.
I think what would be really cool would be some type of skyscrapers, like multiple floors, office building type. There was when I lived in Las Vegas, there was one place. I guess it was like this Wells Fargo bank building was like a big hub, and they closed it down for sheriff's training for like a month before they remodeled it. And they just said they were remodeling the whole thing top to bottom, so they were like, they just gave it to the sheriffs or to the police department to train for like a month.
What?
Yeah, they had a lot, so like something like that would be cool, like 6 or 7 stories. So you have stairwells, cubicles.
So you actually have to breach and clear.
Offices, yeah, you have all this stuff, and they didn't even clean up, so they like had all the, because they were like replacing everything. So they had like the fax machines, the cubicles with monitors, everything was still
destroyable.
Destroyable almost, yeah. I don't think they destroyed it that bad. I only heard about it from another friend who was in the police department. So,
well, I know there are every once in a while, in our area anyway, hospitals that have closed down, and I know like certain shows have used them for filming and stuff. And so they're accessible anyway.
Just it's all about that liability thing, though.
Yeah,
with Airsoft.
I mean, Blue Heron. Just saying.
Yeah. No, that was a cool experience. You should have came up to Oregon.
Fine. Yeah.
I was disappointed in you.
They might have it again.
Maybe. Fingers crossed.
And
next time.
If they do, you're coming up.
All right. I'll bring a roll of electrical tape just in case.
He's not even here, and he's here with us. George, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Poor Chet.
He'll never live it down, That'll just be his legend from now on. Like, you're the electrical tape leg guy.
the party didn't tell you, so he said on the, I had to go and drive him to the ER, and so when he told me, he's like, oh, I gotta go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I don't want to miss my playtime. You're gonna have to just walk. And he's like, looked at me like I was serious. I'm like, no, hop in that. I'm already de-gearing. I'm hopping in the car.
It's like, what the?
And then, the hospital was really cool. The hospital's really nice. James Garamond What do you guys think of doing your own teching?
Absolutely. What? Yeah.
If you're good at it, if you have a talent for it, I'd say keep practicing and experiment. But I mean, I don't do my own teching anymore because I have Brian do my tech work and he does an amazing job. I just don't have time.
Yeah.
I think you agree because
Yeah.
your gun's been tech by Ryan.
Yeah. And Matt. And our techs.
Yeah. All our techs.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm technically illiterate when it comes to the internals, so you know what? If you have the skills to do it, more power to you. For me, I'll hand it off to a tech I trust, but you know, there's definitely something fun and satisfying about, you know, taking a gun and upgrading it and making it really your own through your own, you know.
Yeah, if you like
blood,
the tinker
sweat,
type of
and tears.
thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's more of a kind of a general knowledge thing that I feel is important. Like I don't do my own tech work anymore just because I don't have time. But when I started out, I felt like it was kind of necessary for me to try to understand how the product worked. So when something malfunctions, I could say, "Oh, I know what that is," or "I've seen that before," or "That sounds like a piston strip."
Diagnose it a little bit.
Yeah, and so that way you're not walking in, you know, blind to a store, or you know, going to a tech who maybe would rip you off or something because you don't know what's wrong, and they'll they'll sell you 1,000 things that don't necessarily fix the problem. So for me, it'd be important just to, even if you're not doing your own tech, just to listen to a lot of broken guns if that's possible.
And you know, you should know some of, I would say, the basics, like, you know, at least just a motor hide, you know, swap out and maintain your inner
things,
barrel.
hop up things.
Yep.
I mean, because learning how to hop up works is very important to be able to troubleshoot a hop up.
Yeah, well, it's easy too on guns that have quick change spring guides like the Scorpion. That way you can learn how to change your own spring.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah. All right.
Next question.
Next question.
Pick a good one.
This one's from Devon B. Or Devon.
Devon
B? Devon B. Hey, Vic, I love the show. I'm looking for an airsoft gun, and what's the pros and cons of full metal rifles? Okay.
Cost and weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and durability maybe.
Durability.
Dude, I don't even know if I'd put the durability argument.
Yeah,
in there
I think that's done. I think that with so many nylon polymer, that there's a whole bunch of brands that have really good quality.
Yeah,
like the Evo or G&G. I'd say who else makes a really good polymer? Like look at Magpul.
The Masada.
Look at Magpul even.
The Scar, the lower receiver on the Scar.
But I mean, like I said, look at Magpul, like real gun parts that are made with polymer that are really durable and good.
Even real guns that are firing real rounds are starting to use polymers as opposed to metals because it's lighter and it's just as durable. Well, it gets closer.
For airsoft, you can definitely there's pros and cons in a sense. Like what would be the pros of it is more affordable usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And lighter. The cons would be not metal. Some people want realism. And the cost. Again.
And it feels real.
Yeah.
Like the metal guns feel more realistic. So I could see where that.
But full metal isn't necessarily like it's not 100% better than a polymer gun. Obviously,
yeah,
you're gonna have
anymore.
You have trade-offs, and if you're like a younger player, if you're like 12, 14, something like that, you might not want to lug around a metal gun all day. You might want something that's polymer and more maneuverable for you. So it's really kind of, when it comes to airsoft guns, find out what works for you, learn all the pros and cons, and then make an educated decision. People can recommend you stuff, but figure out what works before you buy.
I agree.
That's a hell of an answer.
That is just like one big answer.
I know, just very concise.
All
you
right,
want to grab another one?
Yeah, I'll grab one. There we go. Grab a good one. This is from Tetgusen15, I guess. All right, that's how you pronounce it. Tetgusen15.
Don't ask me. I butcher names all the time.
All right. Well, all right. Hiya, insert. Have you ever noticed the similarities and differences between airsoft and LARPing? If so, how would you feel if they were combined? Thoughts? I don't know.
They already are combined.
Close, right?
Right. Live action role playing game. I think that's what it is.
Isn't that what Milsim is? Really? It's just LARPing with projectiles.
Yes. It's LARPing with projectiles. I think.
And if you're talking about LARPing in the traditional sense, I'm not sure I want a Crusader with an MP5. I just don't know how that would work.
No, it's LARPing though.
Or guys
No one will
fully decked
admit
out
it,
in
though,
Cry
but it is.
with a sword.
I'll admit it.
like a bastard sword.
We're getting pretty close with the tomahawks, you know.
Yeah, but that's
The
not
the
they
Nerf
don't-
stuff.
The Nerf stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's a limit to how far we can take the melee aspect of
Yeah.
airsoft. You know, it's cool. It looks great on your gear as long as it's an imitation weapon, but its usefulness in an airsoft game is debatable.
Yeah, probably plus like depending on the field, they don't even allow you to do contact kills. So
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
different looks. Like most of
Well, for
Airsoft,
zombie
it's
games
different.
though, melee stuff's pretty fun. I don't like
As long as
I
the
don't pegging a
zombie's like
15-year-old
cool
kid
with
in
you
the head
whacking
an
him with a
axe,
sword. Like he's just some volunteer and you're like, ha! Yeah! He's like, what the hell,
What
man?
did you do that for? Oh man. Oh, I picked a really big question. I don't like. Jason Lee. You related?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe. Just
Hello,
because-
guys at Evike. This is sort of a personal question. I feel that my parents dislike me for playing/owning airsoft guns. Can any of you guys relate to this? You can.
I'll get into
Or has this ever happened to you? Were any of you guys judged by loved ones for playing airsoft?
First of all, your parents don't dislike you. Your parents love you, regardless of your choices in life. It's one of the wonderful things about parent-child relationships. You have no choice but to love each other.
No.
They may not agree with your choice of hobbies, but that's
So
something
they'll still
that
love you.
Yeah, they still love you.
They just won't talk.
They're
About
just not happy right now. Speaking from personal experience, both of my parents aren't really gun people. I grew up in a household without guns. With that said, I mean, I was the kid who used to make Lego guns that could shoot rubber bands just because
It was fun.
I wasn't allowed to have guns. So I was like, I'll make my own. Screw you. But anyway, when I turned 18, when I turned 16, I got an airsoft gun from a friend, and I kept it at his house. And so I was kind of playing under the radar from my parents, and that was kind of weird because when they found out that I was doing this job, and I kind of explained that I was working for a company that did airsoft guns, and they looked just like the real thing. It was kind of a tough pill to swallow, and they had to get used to it. But ultimately, this is something that I enjoy and something that I love and something that I work hard for. So I think at the end of the day, my parents kind of understood why it was so important to me in my life, and I think they came around eventually. But I think it'd be important to just kind of explain, what the positives are of team building and friendships that you create and things like that, and maybe concentrate less on the gun aspect.
Yeah. What about you?
I started airsofting probably when I was 13, 14, something like that, and it was their main concern for my folks was safety, because their thought of like airsoft is they thought it was just metal BBs. They were like, you're gonna shoot at each other with
BB
metal
guns, stuff,
you're gonna shoot at each other with metal BBs, like that's not safe. So once they kind of found out there's like all these safety rules in place, minimal engagement distances, all that, they were cool with it, and I guess I'm fortunate that they were just okay with it.
I didn't get into it until like 22, 23, so...
Late bloomer.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, I was in a gun-friendly environment for my whole life, so I've been shooting guns.
See,
That
you've
was-
got
since I
all
was
three
really-
levels.
Since I was really young, so I already understood the safety aspect and all that, so...
Well, you were also you actually did real shooting, so this
For
was
a long time,
yeah.
Mhm.
So this was a different transition.
Yeah, I was
for you
just
than
like,
it
this
was
is
for-
awesome. This
Like
is
a
so-
less expensive
This is
alternative.
yeah, and I used to play paintball a long time ago, so I was like, this is like paintball and real shooting. Great.
So hopefully that gave you a pretty
was
broad
good.
view of
That was a good
things.
question.
We all came from 3 different households.
Your turn.
Hiya. All right. The Doctor of Pepper 1 asks, "Hey, Insert." That's awesome. Should have worn my "Trust Me, I'm a Doctor" shirt. Anyway, hey, Insert. What is the lowest FPS you feel is effective at a range of 50 feet, and the highest FPS you think is reasonable for any op? So, lowest FPS you feel is effective at a range of 50 feet.
It's like what, 250?
Probably something
Probably
like that.
depends on the type
250,
of barrel.
Look, if you hop it correctly, you can get a 100 FPS gun to go 50 feet, no problem.
Just like
It just not
just
gonna
let
take-
me look like this.
You're just not gonna feel it when you get
The
down.
target's not going to be there when it.
I think the effective range of most pistols is about 50 feet, right?
Yeah, and then but the barrel length though,
Right.
it starts like curving or going. Sometimes it will go that distance, but
and those are
so-
about 300 FPS.
Yeah.
So I'd say
Or
250 to 300 FPS is probably your minimum for a 50-foot engagement distance, and then maximum for ops
Maximum for ops, I mean,
450.
450?
I think 450, just because some guns, like brand new guns, sometimes they'll shoot like 420 and then they'll start dropping when the spring sets in and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think 450 is fair.
On what weight? So 450 on like 2.5s
Oh,
or
450.
2.0s?
No, 450 on 2.0s.
Okay.
So you'd be and then I'd say that caution would be like at the 50. You'd want 420, 430 in that range.
Yeah.
And on 2.5s,
Yeah.
that would drop it to about 400.
Yeah.
If you're shooting 3.2s, maybe that would be 380.
Boom. Just like that.
Straightforward. Yeah.
And it hurts.
You want to grab another one?
Yeah. Grab one more.
I think it's our last question.
Yeah.
Last question? All right, I'm going to make this good.
I don't know. We don't know. Our camera
Make it
guys
good.
Like, "Eh, whatever.
Oh, a short one. Very short question. Wow. Okay, question from Mental Menchie. And his question is, what kind of events should I, as a backyard airsofter, play? You can interpret this a few ways. Like, if he's
So they're
talking-
playing they're playing in the backyard, which could be, some people's backyards could be pretty interesting when you think about it. They could be referring to a big field wilderness behind their house or
Or
anything
the
like that.
Midwest.
Not necessarily like your backyard.
Oh, well, so I was going to say, for this question, what if we isolate the answer to make it not a 30-minute answer? So let's assume that it's a backyard in the traditional sense, that it's not
Okay.
5 acres.
Okay,
But,
so a traditional backyard, maybe you have like
of like
a garage.
50 feet by 100 feet.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That's fair. And so you're asking what type of events should they play?
Yeah, like what would interest a player that is used to doing backyard games or small environments?
CQB stuff probably, because it's something you're not used to.
Sure.
I think any large event would be a step up for them.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna blow your horizons, go to a Milsim event because that's totally different than a backyard game. Your engagement distances are longer.
Yeah.
You get to dress up. Part of a squad. That's stuff that you don't necessarily have when you're in just a backyard.
You get to LARP.
Get
And you get to LARP.
Get to LARP. Just step up a little bit, I would say. Don't jump into like a huge Milsim event right away, and definitely, don't. I would say definitely don't go out there and buy a bunch of gear right away. Like,
Yeah.
go to a few games, figure out what you need, and then slowly realize like, oh, maybe I need a chest ring now, maybe I need a belt, maybe I need an extra magazine. But don't just buy everything at once and then end up getting buyer's remorse. Like, I can't use any of this stuff. It sucks. I have no money now to spend on what I really want. So
Then you're reselling stuff and then trying to make your money back, which you don't. Yeah.
So take that advice from someone who's made that mistake. I think a lot of us have made that mistake buying too much gear. George.
Yeah.
think-
I got like
think
2
you've
bins full
probably
of stuff
come
I
up with
get
the
rid of.
best advice out of any answer we've had so far. You're very clear.
Fair and balanced.
You're a great person to have on answer. Awesome. Thanks for joining
That
us.
means I'm guaranteed back, right?
Yeah, you can come back whenever you want.
Yeah.
Just drop it anytime.
There's only a few people who are officially banned from Insert. Jet being one of them.
What?
He doesn't know. He just found out.
Okay.
Just found out right
now
now.
that he's
Sorry,
banned.
Jet.
Sorry,
Had
Jet.
Shades after that last fiasco.
Yeah, Shades is banned from that too.
All right,
Sorry,
guys.
guys. I mean, there was no insert last week. It's complicated. Shades messed it up.
Thanks for joining us once again for another episode of the Not So Round Table. If you have any future questions, maybe something we haven't answered yet, then by all means, please comment in the section below. Those will get transferred into our Helm of Reasoning, and maybe George or myself and a special guest could be answering them next week in a completely non sequitur and non sequitur. Why did I want to use that word?
It's a fun word to use.
It is, but I don't think I
I'm
used it.
like, you're doing that thing that you do when you like want to over
Yeah.
talk about something.
Mhm.
You know, you're
I start to throw in flourishy language.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And not concentrating on what
like
I'm trying to say.
plethora. And all
I've
that.
only got like a 3rd grade reading level, so
Yeah.
it's way above my head.
Well, yeah, I did the SAT, so I figured I might as well use the vocabulary I had to learn.
I think diarrhea of the mouth is
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
All right, see you guys later.
Peace out.